Hello, this is your host Akhil Navluri, and welcome to a brand new episode of the TechoSpace podcast series. So, in this podcast episode, I'm very much privileged and honored to welcome our guest, Mr. David Roldán Martínez, who happens to be the head of digital office and business solutions at apinity, having a wide range of experience in APIs and integrations technology, and he's based out of Valencia, Spain. So, David, I'm very much honored and excited and delighted to welcome you to this podcast episode. So, how are you, and how was the weather in Spain during the Christmas time?
Well, firstly, very happy to be here. Thanks very much for reaching out me. Well, here today is raining. It's strange because it never rains, not in California but also in Valencia. But it's raining today.
Okay. So, I mean, usually it's like a dry weather, you mean to say, right? In
Yeah,
Valencia.
yeah,
All right, all right. Yeah, even the situation here in Hyderabad, in India also, it's really the same. Sometimes it's sun. I mean, there's a sunshine here. Sometimes it becomes, foggy weather. So, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, overcast weather, if I can just say that. So, yeah. All right, David. So, let's kickstart with the podcast.
Come on.
So, David, I just wanted to know, like, how did you start your journey in the tech industry, and how did it begin?
Wow, it began a lot of time ago. I I think 25 to 30 years ago. I started as a software developer in in Java 2, I think, which is it's prehistoric.
Right.
In Java, I
Yeah.
was working on computer telephony integrations, voice over IP mainly. Uh, and then I moved to the university, not only for lecturing but also in the IT staff. I was working, managing from the technical point of view the
Right.
virtual campus. So then I moved from software developer consultant to a software architect and project management.
Hmm.
And then 15 years later, yeah, I moved to Capgemini to become a delivery architect, and then I moved from Capgemini to Sopra Steria as enterprise architect, and then I moved to Sensidia for a solutions architect position, and then I moved to Shaper by Admira as head of APIs business development management, and now I'm currently at Apinity as a business development and solutions manager and the head of digital office. So
That's unique.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I have passed across all the position, in software, or yeah, software computer science, which is start from development. You have to get in touch with low level things, then you start with architecture and having a more holistic view of what is going on when you are designing or defining a solution for solving a complex problem.
Right.
Then also at the same time you start doing some more team leading task that make it's a complement in your journey through the architecture. And then I currently more closer to strategy than to real IT. I have a technical background and I love technology, but now I'm more at the strategy level.
Okay. Okay. So, like as we say that, right, with years, sometimes the strategy keeps on changing, and we have to upskill
Yeah,
ourselves based on the time it is.
yeah.
So, like, what is the key differentiating factor that you have found, of being a lecturer and being someone in the IT department? I mean, of being an industry leader in the IT department, if I have to, uh, correct my statement.
Well, it's very different. When you are lecturing at the university, you have to focus on the basics. It's true that I think it's great for a student to also be aware of how things are working in the market, at least at high level, because that helps them to understand why they need to learn how to solve differential equations. For example, that if you
Yeah,
are doing that, you don't know what for, but if you explain them the real applications, they are more happy to learn
exactly.
that kind of things, because they see how they can be applying that in a short or medium term, right? So, but what
Right.
you are uh, explaining solution to a customer, okay, it depends of the profile and skills of the customer, but you have to focus not in what to do or how to do it, but what to do and why you have to do it, which is more close to business rather than technology. But it depends of your stakeholder. If you are talking with a CTO or an architecture director, probably you have to focus more on IT. But if you
Right.
are talking with a CEO or a CIO, you have to talk more about the business. So
True,
it,
true.
it depends, but the message and the way you prepare meetings or lectures are very, very different.
Exactly. As they say, I mean, person to person, I mean, the things change. So I can say that, here the requirements are completely changing. So you just gave the example of a CTO, like what a CTO expects, or, what are the head of the company expects, or, I mean, the delivery manager of the company, what he expects. So yeah, it keeps on changing, and that's how, I mean, change is part of the system, right? So now, David, I mean, I know I've highlighted this particular point in the start where, where I was just mentioning out that you have a wide range of experience in APIs and the integrations technology. So if you have to brief about what an API and integration technology is to our listeners, so how would you brief that in simple words?
Hmm. Well, an API, very simply put, it's a contract that models the behavior of a system or application. So in that contract, you have pretty clear specify the operations under the contract, the data you need to perform those operations, the results you can expect, and how you can handle the errors that, of course, from time to time happens.
Yeah,
Right. So knowing having that description, you can know how that system is going to behave.
right.
Right. So what about integration? Okay, integration it's about connecting several systems between them to do whatever you want to do. So
Exactly.
if you know how each of these systems are going to behave, you can put something in the middle, which is the integration, that will control to some extent the dialogue between the systems that you are interconnected. That's an integration. And the role the APIs play on integration is clear. You have the specification of the systems you are interconnecting. So knowing that, it's I would say easy, but it's not so easy and
Yeah,
very complex to interconnect or to implement that integration. You
exactly.
just have to
Exactly.
link the APIs, which
Mhm.
is the systems underlying to the APIs between each other.
Perfect, perfect. So, David, now it arises to a new question from my end. So, I'm like, I just wanted to understand this. Like, how are you able to, I mean, do you have any way of integrating the APIs with the legacy technologies and the technologies that are latest in the market now? So,
Well, at the end of the day, integration it's about APIs because you can put an API on top of your backend, no matter the type of backend and no matter how old is it. So that helps you to build an abstraction layer from your backend. So there's no problem on that. As far as you are able to create that APIs and that APIs are well are very well designed.
perfect, perfect. So, do you find any challenges when you are integrating API with that of a legacy tech system? Like, do you have any kind of, discrepancies happening in between or any challenges?
Well, the challenge is to have the API very well defined. For doing that, you have a lot of, well, first of all, you have to follow a standard for a specification,
Right.
and then follow the guidelines for that standard. If you do that and you follow the best practices, which are available, wherever you want to do it, they are public. You won't find any problem in the part of the API definition. If you have to integrate the APIs in an API management platform, or on a broader integration platform, well, it depends.
Right, right. So everything has a particular specification, and according to that, we need to act upon. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That's good. That's perfect, David. So now heading on to the next one. So David, this is a thing that I'm really really curious to know. So like David, what is the type of technology that you have used in the past and are still using for creating all these innovative business solutions that you are doing it for different organizations? So
Oof. Well, I really think that there is no one technology that have survived for everything, but you can use text files, but it doesn't matter. No,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you also have to, technology advances, and you should also advance with at the same pace of the technology. So technology context change a lot because it's very dynamic. So that's a challenging for IT people like us, because you have to be on the edge, and this means a lot of effort of training, learning, reading a lot of reports, being able to understand and to put something to simplify things, just to be surfing the wave. So that's a talent. But I think that a good architect, a good engineer, a good developer has to be able to adapt to those changes quite easily.
exactly, exactly. That's true. That's true. I mean, that's how the responsibility, goes on. Whenever he's given a new task of, handling a new technology, he needs to understand and he needs to train himself. Okay, like these are the requirements that I need to fulfill by my end, and these are the commands that I need to follow. So if he, upskills himself or he or she upskills themselves with this, there's nothing stopping for that as far as,
Yeah,
right?
completely agree.
Amazing, amazing. So now, David, I just wanted to, clearly, I mean, get an understanding of this one. So, like, as far as I understand now, AI is a hot property in the market. Whenever you just see any tech articles, you go ahead, you just see that, there is AI, AI. It's like, I feel like, a superstar of the next film, or a hot
Yeah.
cake in the market. Yeah. So when you're integrating the AI with API, like do you consider this relationship to be like this relationship to be like a key value pair, or anything more than that?
Well, I think that the relationship between AI and APIs are twofold. First, we have to consider how AI can help APIs, which is mainly in the API lifecycle. For example, using generative AI to generate AI, or to generate tests, or test data, and many other things. That
Right.
is, the life cycle of the APIs. Also, AI can help in an upper level to the working of a API management platform. For example, using predictive AI to analyze the historical patterns of the behavior
Exactly.
of the APIs, and make predictions, for example, to define traffic shaping policies or any other type of runtime policies, to be able to prevent some security attacks, for example, no? or
Exactly.
to improve availability, for example, right? Then,
Yeah.
but what happens in the other sense? How APIs can help to AI? Okay, AI. I know I'm going to be very simplistic, but AI is only an algorithm, but you need data to feed the algorithm, because if you don't do that, AI will do nothing, and so data has to be there. Data are currently spread all across the architecture of
Exactly.
your company and your partners. So you need to consume data to inject those data to your AI thing. So this consumption is done quite often through APIs. So APIs plays a key role there. Also, the results from AI has to be exposed to people. Of course, you can consume directly the results of the AI thing, but the more common situation is that you want to share those data with your partners, with your customers, or whatever. So you need a mechanism for exposure of those results. That mechanism is an API. So AI is not coming alone. It comes for sure with APIs, with also with data technologies, but also don't forget about cloud technologies, cloud architecture,
Right.
governance, and so on. So we tend to focus on AI because, I mean, it's probably now the hot topic. But if you want to embrace an AI solution on your company, you have to walk a journey first starting. You have to do many other things before.
Exactly, exactly. It's not like, you have to just integrate the AI. You need to understand what exactly is the AI about and how well it can
Yeah,
boost the, processes, the processes, the technology, and how, and whether is it, creating any havoc for the people in the business end. So we need to
yeah,
understand those particular requirements. I
yeah.
mean, this was a particular, exactly, David, this was a particular statement which my father was telling me one day that, AI without data, I mean, that
It's
doesn't make
useless.
any, is useless. Exactly. Exactly. So, during that time when AI just came into the market, everyone was just talking about it. Oh, AI is this, AI is that. But he just gave me an understanding like, okay, what AI is? AI is something that has data. If you do not have that data, how will AI even give the answers based on that? So
Yeah.
that exactly is a point in which I really had a resemblance with what you were just specifying about, David. So that's perfect, David. So now, David, now we'll just go to the tricky part of things. So this question is going to be basically like how are you able to strike a balance? So I just wanted to understand like how are you able to strike a balance when you're tackling diverse complexities that are ranging from building a custom integration to that of managing a smart digital ecosystem. So how are you able to do that?
Well, complexity is something quite common in technology, and one of the best approaches to deal with complexity is layering. If you think, for example, in TCP/IP protocol stack, you will see that there are many layers for that are focused on different tasks, and they exchange data by using an interface. So when you have to define a solution, to design a solution more in architectural way for a customer, you can follow the same approach. I think it's better to go for simple to complex. But not only in the situation. If you want to embrace a solution as a whole, it's better to start by building an MVP or a POC, or by identifying several use cases, and start an iteration by the most simplest one, and then start building or adding more complexity to it. Yeah,
Exactly. So it's like from take the starting point. It everything is like a step by step thing. So start with the
yeah,
simple one and then
yeah. And
end
go
up to
to
the complex one.
yeah.
Perfect,
That's
perfect.
that's
So
the
now,
idea.
like you're talking about an MVP. So can you just, give me a deep insight more about an MVP on this aspect?
Well, an MVP is the minimum valuable product, So that means you have to start delivering value as soon as possible. So you have to define which is that minimum value you can start delivering to. So
Exactly.
that will map on one or two simple use cases that are the ones you have to implement. In this case, selecting the most simplest use cases of AI that will depend on the maturity of your organization, and then go for it.
All right, all right. So that explains it all. And the way as the title suggests, it's the minimum valuable product. as far as I can say. Or correct me if I'm wrong in this aspect. All right.
Yeah.
So, David, before we conclude our podcast session, so David, I happened to, just come across here. I mean, I was just going through a LinkedIn profile where the thing that, the place where I was more intrigued was, that you have written more than 30 plus books in
Mm.
Espanol, Spanish, if I can, translate it for our
Yeah.
English listeners. So, David, they were mainly on the area of AI with personal development. So I just wanted to, get to know this that, what prompted you to author these books and who are your target readers for the same?
Well, I must say that I wrote the books before AI, so
Right.
my own. Yeah. Well, I think that of course AI can help you to write faster, but I don't like do it for writing books. Why? Because that's my personal experience, right? I write because I like to share what I have inside of me, in this case my knowledge, and pay it back to the society, because I think it's my contribution to give the society what the society gives me, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't want. I think it has no sense to delegate that on AI, on an AI.
Right.
It's me who wants to pay back to the society. It's my gift to the society. You know,
Absolutely.
so there's no sense on doing or writing a book on AI. You can do it, of course, but it won't be original. It won't be a part of me. So I don't do it. You know.
Exactly.
So I think that writing a book it's a huge experience, because it also helps you to learn about a topic. You can be an expert, but you don't know everything about that topic. So when you are planning a book, you have to fully understand. First, you have to define pristine clear which are the topics you are going to talk with about,
Exactly.
and then define how you are going to focus the contents. It's like making a strategy. In fact, it's an strategy. So you have also to define the criteria you are going to use to include some information on another, and where, at which point on the book, and you have to follow a coherent styling and storytelling throughout all the book, right?
Exactly.
So that's why I think it's an exercise. It helps you to double check if you are really, I wouldn't say an expert, but if you really fully understand what the topic you are writing really is. If you are able to understand that, it's easy to communicate and to share
Exactly.
with other people y- your vision, or to explain your thoughts and insights about that topic. So
Absolutely.
in fact, I fully and strongly recommend everybody to write a book at least once in your lives.
David, I have not written a book, but I've written a short story, but it has nothing related to technology. It's
Yeah.
like, coming of age dramas, exactly like during my college time, like my personal experience. So those things I just, put across. That's about it from my end. That was the thing. But
Okay.
yeah, but David, you just gave me an inspiration that, everyone should write a book. So probably you may see me writing a book soon someday in the future.
Okay. Let me know if I can help you.
Definitely, definitely, David. We should, I mean, this is going to be our second collaboration, like after this then. Perfect, perfect. Yeah. So, David, just you were saying, if we take the help of AI, to write something or take some notes, we don't have our energy or, our passion integrated with that.
Yeah.
Like as you were saying, API is integrated with system. We need to integrate our passion when we are writing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing, it just has to come from inside and what we feel, what are we feeling about? Because AI cannot exactly get into our senses and say, okay, I mean, he or she is feeling that. So we need to put across, okay, what we need, because we know perfectly like what are our opinions, how do we want to storytell that. So that is
Yeah.
how, that is a clear explainable point, David. So David, what was the title of the first book which you wrote, years back? Or you can just tell me the translation of English in English, doesn't matter.
Voice and data integration.
Can you repeat that, David? Sorry, I couldn't
Yeah.
get that.
Voice and data integration.
Okay, so I suppose I'm assuming the title has to be with respect to data integrations then.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. First
Yeah.
was about voice over IP
Okay,
and
that's
computer
perfect.
telephony.
That's interesting. Interesting. That's good. So probably, I think, I mean, do you feel that I should read the books written by you? Do you recommend that to me?
But they are in Spanish. Because you,
All
you
right.
will you will have to learn Spanish first, but of course you can try.
David, the thing about me is, David, I'm a fast learner and I'm actually learning French now.
Ah,
So probably after my French classes, I think next would be Spanish classes then. So I would love
then it
to.
can be a good support.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I told you, right? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Spain football team, and I really have a lot of favorite Spanish footballers like during the past. So probably if I have to see any interview of them, I can learn Spanish and easily understand that without subtitles. So perfect, perfect, David. So, David, I would say it was a pleasure having you for this podcast initiative, and thank you for making time. And
My
I really,
pleasure.
really had Yeah, yeah. I really had a great time interacting with you because, when I interact with industry leaders like you, David, I learn a lot. And for me, every day is a learning, as I always say to people. And having said that, you have given me a lot of inspiration, especially when it came with writing a book. And not only that, the number of books that you have written, especially, the number of books, like 30 plus books you have written. So it gives me a confidence that, I mean, whatever you have, especially like something that runs in your passion, you have to just continue that. So that's a key takeaway that I would like to, just present it here in this podcast episode.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David, for taking your time and being part of this podcast initiative. I really love this collaboration, and it was lovely having you
You
here.
can call me whenever you want. I will. For me, it will be a pleasure to be back here.
Definitely, definitely, David. I mean, definitely, I would, love to collaborate more with you. And I just got, I mean, it was great knowing you again. So So yeah. So listeners, before we conclude our podcast episode, so this is an open request to all the industry leaders out there who are listening to my podcast episode. If you have any interesting story, any key useful insight, or any interesting journey which you would like to share with me through you, if you would like to share through my podcast episode, you can reach out to me on my email ID, akhil.navduri55@gmail.com, or you can message me on my WhatsApp number that's present on the podcast profile page of mine. So, and I know, and who knows, it's going to be you next time, the industry leaders who are listening out to my podcast. So thank you, David, again, once again, for being part of
My
this
pleasure.
podcast initiative. So listeners, this is your host Akhil Navluri signing off. We would be back with another podcast episode with another industry leader. Till then, keep listening, stay tuned, take care, goodbye, adios, bye bye, and au revoir.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Okay, then, right then. Bye.
Bye bye.